You know what it's time for. It's time for the 3 Wide Podcast. Nick Mizesko, Tyler Davis, one great user. Before we get started, as always, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the pod as we work our way through every single NFL team's NFL draft and grade them based purely on the college football 25 player ratings. Today, we head to the Queen City and dive in with the Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be tough to top the Cleveland Browns. They stand atop the tower right now, TD, for the Bengals. You talk about a draft where they just didn't need a whole lot. Turns out when you got guys like, Joe Burrow, Shemar Chase, T. Higgins, you're not exactly trying to find a lot in the draft. They're just hoping to be a little healthier this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They have a pretty good roster kind of already built in. I know they wanted to add to the defense a little bit, which they did in this draft, which we'll talk about. They got some good players, in my opinion, that they add to the draft. But like you said, no one's going to top – I don't think in the whole NFL no one's going to top that Cleveland Browns draft, let alone here in the AFC North. But excited to see what the Bengals do have here.
Just remember, user, according to Tyler Davis, it was not an A+. It was like an A almost plus. It was like an A half of a plus.
Which is crazy. So that means that
79 speed. 79 speed.
But if you just said that, hey, you don't believe anyone's going to be able to top the Browns draft, shouldn't that be the best?
I didn't say that, though. I said maybe. There might be one or two teams out there that
listen, when we get to the end of this, we're going to get a little bit of an apology from Mr. Man Bun over there, being like, oh, you're right. You know what? You're right. Nobody topped this. You're right.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Okay, well, let's just get into it. All right, I'm going to pull up these rosters. And I think what's interesting with the Bengals, they start off in the first round. They head out to, it's weird to say the SEC still with Texas A&M. I will always picture them as a Big 12 team, but they head out to the SEC. And they go and pick up a defensive end in Shemar Stewart, who, Ty, this is a guy who, on a lot of draft boards, people were wondering, could Shemar Stewart be a top 10 pick? He ends up going to the Bengals, sort of mid-round, you're talking 17th, but it's still really good value for the Bengals.
Yeah, I think this is a great value pick, and that's what we said. They need to shore up that defense. You got Joe Burrow, you got Jamar Chase out there, you have some weapons already on the offense. Your offense is set, so you got to add to that defense. The Bengals, they're unsure what's going to happen with Trey Hendrickson, one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. I think he was the sack leader last year. That's an absolute stud, and he's looking for a trade, I believe, so we don't know what's up with Trey Hendrickson. If Hendrickson does come back, you pair him with Shemar Stewart, you have maybe one of the best pass rushes in the NFL. Two studs on both sides. So I think it's a great pick here at 17. Like you said, it could have been a top 10 pick. He's an absolute stud here in college football 25.
Look at all the edges, by the way, in this game. You end up You're the 11th best edge, I think is where it ends up being. What can you say? I mean,
first rounder compared to yesterday, let's just be honest. First rounder compared to yesterday, I really don't know how this draft is starting off for the Bengals because you thought, let's be real, Nick, you thought maybe he was an outside linebacker. And that's why you said he got to be too low. For a first rounder and me not to see him in the top 10, he has to be too low. That's why you started shifting from left end, right end. Those are red flags when you come to drafting and you're looking at college football.
Remember, he is a junior too, so he's kind of leaving early, still a little bit young. I feel like he's still a guy that can.
Listen, Ty's really trying to put this cake icing over here. Let's just look at the pure numbers. Okay, first of all, ability-wise,
hold on one second.
You're just talking about pocket disruptor and duress?
He's talking about he's a junior. You're supposed to leave when you're a junior. You stay when you're a senior. Hey, why you have to stay extra years?
Yeah, but also he could develop more than he could have. He could.
Yeah, okay. He's thinking if he stayed one more year, he might be Myles Garrett at the end of it. I mean, it's all settled down. 6'6", 290, so good size on the outside. You like 6'6" frame user, but I mean, from a game perspective, you're talking just pocket disruptor and duress, and we're not talking about platinum abilities here.
Yeah, and this silver, this is one step above the lowest, bronze. So you got to understand for him to
that bronze,
that bronze. And you got to understand for him to be rated, him to be drafted 17th overall. You're expecting to kind of see the trends like we saw yesterday with the Browns. Granted, this isn't a top 10 pick. But at the end of the day, 17, you're right there in the middle of all 32 teams, and you're expecting them to have somebody when you look at college football to be somebody that's a stud that's standing out. Now, he might be, but we talk about the speed. According to college football, he doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have the abilities. So we already know this player right here technically should not transfer over to Madden that well. He's going to have to really put in some work so the ratings adjuster like Chad Ocho can really get him up to show the Bengals that he was worth at 17 overall.
And if anything, from looking at these ratings, you talked about the 79 speed, not ideal. But what I see here, 93 power move, 87 block shed, 6'6", 290. Like, this is a guy that could, if I'm playing Madden, if I'm playing college football, I'm putting him at D tackle. So I don't know how his versatility, but for the Bengals, you might be able to put him at D tackle a little bit, get some pass rushes up the middle, because from his ratings based, looks more like a D tackle to me almost.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely think for the Bengals, they're looking for the replacement, Trey Hendrickson, possibly on the way out. Is this somebody they pair up with Trey Hendrickson? Do they move him to DT? I mean, you look at it, 93 power move, 85 finesse move, 87 block shed, 88 pursuit, 88 play rec. Some of these numbers are good. If you look at power move, he's top. I mean, he's got the tied for the third best power move in the game. By the way, can we talk about Deontay Walker sitting there with 98 power move? I mean, stop, wow. Please. I mean, that's a nice little pick for them. And listen, I know it's not going to blow anybody away from a game perspective, and he's not sitting there with the abilities that, we were hoping for. But, I mean, talk about a player that can contribute, good size, and we move on. We go to the second round.
What's his overall again? Was it 88?
88. Yeah. He's 88
This
over
is a solid B pick, in my opinion. Like, it's not a bad pick, and it's not a great pick. It's a solid value
pick. For the Brady.
So you gave that a B, but top 2, top 3 barely gets an A?
Yeah, the grading system. Ty's grading on a curve.
I said this specific pick. I think it's a B pick.
The curve for Ty is crazy. All right, we're going to have to actually...
I give this a C plus at best.
We're going to actually have to go to the actual team to look at this because we're going to linebacker. We got Demetrius Knight Jr. Shout out to the Cockaboos in South Carolina. I love me. The Gamecocks this year were a lot of fun to watch. And you look at what? Do we move?
Oh.
Are we middle? Are we going middle? Hold on. Are we middle?
Right there.
There he is.
All right. Thank God. I was like, uh-oh.
What is
go to the overall. I don't need to see this on the press. Go to the overall.
Yeah, all right. We got you. We got you.
Where's the speed? What's the speed? That's important.
81 speed at middle linebacker. I got scared for a second.
Okay.
So, let's start off with second-round pick user from ability standpoint. Better than the first-round pick. You got at least got a gold ability out here with Gold House Call.
He has one gold, and like you said, second-round pick. The Browns have set such a high bar, and it's tough. You look at a guy, he's 88 overall, so that's why you had to go look at the specific team because you already knew he was not going to be in that top 10 linebacker range. And then you look at his speed. Once again, he's 81 speed. We always talk about how speed is king when it comes to video game, and also on the real gridiron. I mean, this is another card, another player that I don't know how well he's going to transition when it comes to Madden. He's going to have to put in work in that second round. You saw the 3 abilities that he had. He had 1 gold ability. He's solid.
So you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, you're talking the 11th best linebacker in the game. Yeah. I mean, in that range. I mean, it's actually probably like tied for 8th. So not bad, TD. You're talking about 81 speed middle linebacker, 84 excel, 91 awareness. So definitely a cerebral player, 6'2", 245 in the middle. Let's take a look at his, this is a field general. Tends to be high awareness. Somebody's going to quarterback that defense. By the way, can we just talk about, just for a second, he's got 86 throw power?
Oh, interesting.
Is he a former quarterback?
Quarterback.
I mean, that's actually crazy. You can plug and play. Let's take a look. So listen, this is not going to be a guy who's pass rushing. 87 hit power is not going to blow anyone away. 89 tackle. I mean, you're not talking.
The block shed's not great either. What's the pursuit? That's
91 pursuit, 89 play rec. I think that's where you're getting him mostly. 89 play rec and 84 zone coverage. So if you are the Bengals, you're looking to drop into some of those cover 3s, cover 4s, where you got a middle linebacker dropping back into those hooks. I mean, Demetrius Knight as a linebacker is not bad. And again, he's faster than Carson Schwestinger that we saw yesterday from the Cleveland Browns. He's sitting there 81 speed. I mean, he's not going to blow anyone away, but at a linebacker, this is somebody who's going to help the defense.
Yeah, this is a fine pick. I feel like it should have been maybe a 3rd or 4th round pick here from what I'm seeing ratings-wise. I think it's okay here in the second. Like we said, overall is pretty good. The pursuit, play rec, the zone coverage you mentioned, all that stuff's pretty good. He, to me, seems a little bit like – he's like a little bit above Schwestinger, what we saw yesterday with the Browns, right? A little bit better speed, a little bit better overall. To me, seems like another run stopper, can put him in occasional like hook zone or spy the defense. So it's an okay pick.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of kind of that build of Logan Wilson, a Bengals linebacker, kind of that at middle linebacker. I mean, listen, this pick isn't going to blow anyone away from just the ratings perspective, user, but we know how important the middle linebacker can be, and this could be somebody that, with the Bengals needed defense. This defense was one of the worst units in the entire NFL. Poor Joe Burrow was out there throwing dimes and dots and touchdowns, and it didn't matter because he was losing it 45-42. They needed defense, and they addressed the need.
Yeah, and you understand the Bengals is definitely drafting for their needs and their position. But like Ty said, the 88 overall, I would have felt better if it was in the third round. But you understand they're trying to fill holes on their squad, and we'll see how these guys will perform.
We head to the Dogs, the Georgia Bulldogs, and we are looking at Dylan Fairchild. Let's see what Dylan Fairchild's looking at. I got to scroll all the way over. I mean, now he's got some abilities, gentlemen. 91 overall in the third round. I mean, This feels like a first steal for the Bengals. They need a little help on the offensive line, user. You're sitting there with gold pocket shield, gold play action shield. The mentals are strong. 91 overall, 89 strength, 6'5", 315. He's a big hoss in the middle.
And you look at the guy overall, you look at the abilities he has, gold pocket shed, gold PA shed, and you understand he also has the mental abilities stepping up on the game. That 91 overall, this is a pick that I wouldn't have been mad to even seeing it in the second round.
Yeah.
To get him in the third round, that's a good steal for them because their first two picks was kind of, but you understand they're trying to fill the best positions that need to be filled right now. And so I like that pick for them.
Yeah, this is a great pick to me here. And for those of you that have used Georgia a lot, I've used Georgia a lot in college football 25, and this O-line for Georgia is insane, and Fairchild is a big part of that. He has the gold pocket shield and PA shield, like user mentioned. I always put him over at tackle because he's like one of the best pass blockers in the game. So interesting here, he's a guard, he's a great pass blocker. Obviously, the Bengals, what have they struggled with the last few years when it comes to the NFL?
Protecting poor Joe Burrow.
Exactly. And I'm the fantasy football guy, so you need to protect your star quarterback. Protect Joe Burrow so we can get the ball out to his weapons like Ja'Marr Chase. I think it's a great pick. Like you just said, I wouldn't even be mad if this was in the second round. This is a phenomenal value pick. We'll see how it translates to the NFL, but obviously, as you can see, he's a stud here in college football 25.
Nick, let me see how where he ranks compared to other guards in college football.
Take a look at the left guards and see. By the way, the most important part, user, this man's from Cumming, Georgia. Thoughts on Cumming, Georgia?
I have nothing.
Got nothing? Not even a little. Okay, he's top 4. That's what we're talking about.
Nice.
That's nice.
To get a top 4 guard in the third round, that's a steal for the Bengals right there. That's a steal for the Bengals.
I mean, he's just behind Clay Webb, Donovan Jackson, and Tyler Booker. Only 91 overall in the game. So that feels like a steal for a Bengals team that really does need to protect Joe Burrow. We're heading to Clemson. We're heading to Clemson.
I love this pick.
I like this one. I like this pick.
A little linebacker action from Dabo Swinney and the Tigers. Let's take a look at Mr. Barrett Carter. Tough name, by the way. Let's see, what are we looking at? Oh, right outside. Yeah, look at that. And this is what we can immediately sit there and take a look at the entire landscape of outside linebackers because he is the best outside linebacker in the game. He's got quick jump user. He's got the gold mental ability, 6'1", 230 for Barrett Carter. And he's sitting there at outside linebacker. First thing I noticed, 89 speed.
Yeah, and that's what, if you're a college football player and you're sitting back and you're trying to understand how these scouts and combine guys draft these people, you're like, Carter should have been going in the first round because he had the speed, he had the abilities, he had all that. And to get him in the fourth round is an absolute steal. Now, the question is this is where I would love the series that we're starting because we'll be able to analyze over time. What is more important? Who's going to give you the best production? Is it these guys that we drafted in the first and second round that's 88 overalls in the mid? And what made them go so high compared to the college football rating? Because you see a guy like Carter, he's the best right outside linebacker in the game. And then he has the speed, all the abilities you're talking about, clear-headed goal, the natural goal, and then you're talking about P-stop goal. I mean, you got to think about it, man. This card right here, this player right here, I thought he was going to be in the first round. To get him in the fourth, that's an absolute steal for the Bengals.
Yeah, Ty, I mean, and you look at just the pure physical numbers. 89 speed, 91 agility, 94 excel, and 87 change of direction. This is going to be somebody that, according to the game, can get anywhere at any angle with no problem whatsoever.
Without a doubt, like if you're using Clemson, you can play this guy at middle linebacker. He's your user. You can't do it in the game, but I'd put him at safety. He's that good. You could put him at defensive end, outside linebacker. The one thing I love,
88 jump on the outside too. By the way, batting down balls.
Insane. Guy's a beast, 6'1", 2, pretty good size. One thing I like too, tendency is pass coverage, right?
91 hit power.
But he also has the quick jump ability, so he can rush the passer. He can play in coverage. You can use it with him. Like this is one of the best picks value wise of the draft. If we're basing this off College Football 25, right? This guy can do it all. How will it translate to the NFL? We'll see. But man, the speed, the quick jump ability to rush the passer, the ability to play pass coverage.
85 zone, 80 man, 97 play rag, 94 pursuit. I mean, again, we are rating these grades based purely on the ratings in the game. And these late rounds are saving the Bengals draft right now because Barrett Carter seems like an absolute steal. User from the game perspective, this seems like something that should have been a first round pick, even though that may not have turned out in the NFL draft. If we're just looking purely at ratings, this is a first round pick.
And you know the thing about it, we have the same situation right here that we're having with Shedeur. Another guy that you look at his rating, he's the best of his position, period. College football. I don't care who they drafted first and second round. They're busts compared to college football. And so now you're going to ask yourself, how does this translate to Madden? Is this another thing with the ratings? I want to see how he's going to be rated when he's actually in the game. Are they rating him compared to college football? Is he going to be still one of the top linebackers rated? Or is he, because he got drafted in the 4th round, is he going to be someone out there with 67 overall, but maybe have the speed?
It'll be interesting to see for the first time in 10 years. We have both games out, and we'll be able to kind of compare the college rating to the pro rating. They then had in the, what are we talking, 5th round, they got Jalen Rivers, left tackle out of the University of Miami. Shout out to the U. Now, U's are not too far from the U. We've seen a couple Hurricanes players down there. And when you take a look at his abilities, purely Jalen Rivers, that's what you can look for at the tackle position, a left tackle with that many abilities. This is something that the game developers at least have a lot of respect for.
Yeah, that's a crazy shot at the devs, man. But yeah, he was a guy that was protecting Cam Ward this year, and you saw what Cam Ward was able to do. He was able to raise his draft stock, and so this is another guy that contributed to that. You got to understand, when it comes to your quarterback, you're only as good as your protection in your trenches, and you see that right there. Bengals trying to shore it up, getting the left tackle. He's a big guy. That's what you want from your left tackle, 6'5" frame, and he's on that backside. He's going to have to be able to protect Joe Burrow and add more depth to that offensive line. And you look at his abilities, like you said, on the game, he has a plethora of abilities. Even though his ratings might not be that high when it comes to left tackle, he still looks like he's a top 10 left tackle overall in college football.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking 94 strength at 6'5", 325. Ty, this is a powerful left tackle and somebody that, going to the Bengals, again, you talk about their two big needs. Their defense was putrid, and they need to protect Joe Burrow. There's just somebody that can slot in immediately and play in that left tackle or even slide over to the right tackle position.
No doubt about it. Reading him up on him, it says he's got great position versatility. He's played a lot of guard. And when I'm looking at his ratings and his abilities, I would probably switch him and Fairchild. Like, I'd put him at guard. He seems like he's a great run blocker. Fairchild, a little bit better pass protector. But this is another great value pick in the 5th round. You get a guy that can play every position on the offensive line. We talked about these abilities here, ground and pound, strong grip, inside shield. So he's a great run blocker. Let's see what his run block rating is.
86 run block, 88 pass block.
So that's pretty solid across the board. They're really balanced. This is a good value pick here. You can, wherever you kind of need him on that line, you can plug and play right immediately into the season.
I also like him sitting there, 92 impact block. You're talking about any of those kick out blocks that he needs to do. He can play in the guard and do some of those pull blocks, but if you're playing on the outside, get some of those kick out blocks on those stretch runs. The Bengals run game has been an adventure recently, and then with their final pick, they actually do end up going and trying to solve this run game a little bit. I mean, let's be clear. Who's the last great? I mean, you're talking about Joe Mixon, and you're talking, 5 years ago? That was kind of the last time that they had a great run game. And they end up going to Texas Tech. Shout out to Lubbock, Texas, and the Red Raiders, and they go get Tahj Brooks. First thing you notice, user, platinum head first, power back, 5'10", 230. He's going to run through you. He's not looking to make you miss. He's looking, get out of my way. Workhorse, armbar, head first, balance, and downhill user. This is not going to be a fun guy to tackle.
Yeah, and when you see that platinum head first, you know he's going to lower the shoulder. He's going to have that truck stick ability and be able to be a bruiser. He's a 92 overall running back that they were able to get a steal in the 6th round. I'm just trying to understand. We're going to have to really take a good look at this, because to get a 92 overall running back in the 6th round with platinum abilities is really saying something. And you're looking across the board, like maybe the running backs, we know they this year, in the past couple of years, the stocks have really dropped when it came to running back. They didn't really want to pay running backs like Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. But of course now, after the seasons that both of them put on and carrying the teams on their backs to championships, I think running back stock have to be back on the rise. But when you see Tahj Brooks being drafted in the 6th round, and what's that? He's top 10 running back?
Top 15, yeah.
Top 15, yeah.
I mean, Ty, I will say this. We talk about speed is king. That's not exactly what Tahj Brooks is. Are you running an 88 speed running back at any point on your team?
It's unlikely. This is the guy that I plug in on the goal line. I hit with fullback dive, and I'm trying to punch it in the end zone or short yard situations. Now, I will say, who are the running backs in Cincinnati? I don't even know. Zach Moss, is he still there? Is he the guy? So for Tahj Brooks, I think he has a chance to come in and immediately contribute, even as a 6th rounder. Now, my one concern, Nick, if you can scroll over to the catching, I want to see, because listen, with Joe Burrow and that Bengals offense, they're going to air the ball.
About 70. Does that make you feel good? No?
Not great.
He should be able to catch a flat. It should be all right.
Yeah,
three out of 4 times.
I'm a little bit concerned here.
3 out of 4 times. That's tough. Listen, he's only going to drop 25% of them.
I'm a little bit concerned if he'll be out there on third
depends. It really depends if your quarterback has gift wrap or not, to be honest.
Just to let you know, the current running backs on the Cincinnati Bengals, Tyler Davis, and you tell me who's lighting everything on fire in Cincy in the backfield. Gary Brightwell, Chase Brown, Quali Conley, Kendall Milton, Zach Moss, and Samaje Perine.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, Chase Brown had some moments last year, but that is a rough backfield. Tahj Brooks has a chance to contribute. Now, like I said, I'm only concerned. Can he play third downs? Can he pass block? Can he catch the ball? That's the concerns there. But for 92 overall to get that in the 6th round, that's a steal.
79 jumping. He's not going to be catching any jump balls, okay? Listen, it's not. Listen, this Bengals draft kind of all over the place. I mean, if you're looking purely at overalls, user, I think it's like, wow, this draft was really good. When you dive into some of these numbers, though, obviously, some of these positions, not as flashy. You're getting a lot of offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers, and maybe that's not what people are really excited to see, as opposed to the Browns, who drafted only quarterbacks and running backs, it appears. But fills a lot of needs, and I think from a game perspective, you look at a lot of these players, it's a solid draft. I don't think it's a great draft, but it feels solid to me.
If you're looking at the overall, I would give this a C+, B- area, and it's like kind of what do I want to see up there? There's C, because I feel like a C+ and a B- is the same, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
not in my house. In my house, a B-, you're okay. A C+, you got some consequences. Just throw it.
So I'm gonna go with a C+ if I had to rate it.
Yeah. I'm right in that neighborhood. Like you said, Nick, I think they got good value. I love the Barrett Carter pick. I think that pick alone boost it, where I'm like, do I go with the B-? Because that's
before we get your grade, is there anybody on this team here? I mean, let's point out their undrafteds. By the way, they went out and got undrafted free agents. We don't point them out unless there's somebody that's blowing us away. And who did they get? They went out and get Seth McLaughlin, Ohio State center. He won the Remington Trophy for the best center in college football this past year.
Too. We should check his overall.
I think pretty good. I think it's high. I think pretty good. The one knock on him purely is that he tore his ACL. End of the year. Is he?
Are you sorting by overall still?
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty high.
So did I. Did they take him out because he's hurt?
Go the other way.
Maybe he's a guard on the game or something.
Let's go down to Ohio State. Let's go to my team, okay? I will never turn off an opportunity to check out. Hey, is he?
Oh, 85.
Crazy. Yeah. Remington Award winner. Disrespectful.
Yeah, that's why I understand he went free agent. He's 85.
Hey, settle down.
And real quick, go to Notre Dame as well.
Hey, but look, they say sometimes people getting paid to get these awards. That's
crazy.
They did go to D tackle. They did get Howard Cross at D tackle as well at Notre Dame, who's 91
overall undrafted free agent. I mean, Not bad.
And he seems like a versatile guy. 288. You could put him at DN maybe too. So I think that's another good undrafted pick. So these two undrafted.
That's definitely a good undrafted.
These two Ty, is there anybody you're looking at from a DFS perspective, the DFS angle? I know it's a lot of guards and offenses, but who does that help from a DFS perspective going into the next year?
Well, it helps Joe Burrow, and that's for sure. If you can get Fairchild, if you can get Jalen Rivers out there productive in performing early on in the season, which I think they can. I think these are two value picks, like I mentioned. They can contribute right away. I think that definitely helps the offense. The Tahj Brooks one is the one that would have the most like DFS fantasy relevancy. I'm just not sure he's going to be able to contribute right away. Maybe later on. He's a guy you maybe stash later on if you don't really believe in Chase Brown at running back, but nothing that really stands out from a fantasy perspective too much.
Boys, let's give a grade. Let's put them on the tier list. Where are we doing? Add in those couple undrafted free agents because I think that's an important part of the draft. User, does that bump him up to a B for you?
Yeah, it bumps him up to a C+ for me.
Okay, all right. That's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. I'll be honest, Ty, I'm kind of in that C range. This felt very good, but not great. I think we're going to see better ones. And again, we're going to, at the end of the year, we're going to be able to adjust these a little bit. But to me, this kind of screamed, C+. It's going to be at the top of the C tier.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you guys. I'm with C+. I thought maybe B- with these undrafteds, but they're just nothing really stands out of this draft. Like we said, good value picks, solid overall across the board, but nothing really stands out where you're like, whoa, that was amazing. The Barrett Carter one's close. I'm going to go C+ though across the board.
Listen, it'll be at the top of the C tier. And again, this is based purely just on the game ratings. This has nothing to do with how it's actually going to turn out, but we put them at the C tier. As always, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Let us know what team you want to see next here for the 3 Wide Podcast.